That's a familiar theme, and whenever we hear it, we know that we're in for a treat. Michael Snyder, he's got some movie reviews for you. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and hey, everybody else. It's the weekend where I'm sitting, and that means new movies, and I've taken it upon myself to tell you what I think of what's out there, so, kind of a consumer guide for y'all. Due to the studios or the publicists failing to make the film readily available to review, Slender Man, an attempt to create a new horror film franchise with an internet meme turned myth, shall go unreviewed. And due to schedule conflicts and logistics preventing me from seeing it, the dog owner skewed ensemble rom-com Dog Days won't get a sniff here either. But that's okay, because we've got bigger and, from what I can tell, better movies to review, starting with a bigger one, The Meg. The Meg is meant to be a Jaws for the Sharknado generation, a big screen movie about the biggest shark in creation, a prehistoric megalodon who's been hiding in the Marianas Trench for countless years, just waiting to be alerted to those, let's call them tasty human hors d'oeuvres on the surface. And, of course, this thing is going to menace quite a few humans. Of course, The Meg has not reckoned with the likes of tough guy actor Jason Statham as an underwater rescue expert and his distaff counterpart, China's Li Bingbing, as a brilliant scientist and single mother of a precocious daughter. They and their pals are going to be confronted with The Meg. Unlike Jaws, The Meg really sinks his teeth into quite a number of people on screen through the magic of modern-day big-budget CGI animation. There's a lot of de rigueur action pieces, some resulting in a lot of anatomical pieces. The script is kind of Jaws for dummies, and I don't mean explaining Jaws to dummies. I think it was actually written for dummies. The tension is knee-jerk. The emotions are shallow, but get ready. It's the definition of a summer popcorn movie, or make that a summer popcorn B movie. There's a hero trying to redeem himself after an earlier mishap that weighs on him, backed by mostly plucky aquanauts on a scientific outpost in the Pacific, financed by an arrogant billionaire played by Rainn Wilson of The Office and, more recently, the new Harry Mudd on Star Trek Discovery. In addition to Statham, Bingbing, and Wilson, the international cast is really solid stuff. Cliff Curtis, Masioka, Ruby Rose, and even an adorable, wise beyond her years kid, again, the daughter of Bingbing's character. It's directed by John Turteltaub, whose early career was promising with Cool Runnings and While You Were Sleeping, but who devolved with the National Treasure movies and other mediocre fare. Did I like it? Yeah, it was fun. Is it as good an action movie as Mission Impossible Fallout? No way, Jose. You could watch this one at home, even though, big screen immersion is what these guys want you to embrace. The Meg. Yeah, I'll pass. Okay, there's some seriously righteous anger deservedly fueling Black Klansman, the latest from writer-director Spike Lee, in a comeback of sorts. This dramatization of an unlikely true story of Black Colorado Springs rookie cop Ron Stallworth, who actually infiltrates the local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan in the early 1970s, at first via phone and then using a white fellow cop, a Jew, as a matter of fact, to portray him in the face-to-face meetings, is absolutely wonderful. I mean, is it relevant? Oh boy, is it. It even features a young David Duke taken in by Stallworth's ruse. With his initial undercover, David Duke, by the way, Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, who's transitioned more recently into political office, with the initial undercover work involving an investigation of college-age Black radicals of the era, and his eventual realization of the terrorism planned by the Klansmen, this so-called period piece is as topical as they come. And a coda before the end credits addresses the ongoing problem of racism and bigotry in America, and it's profoundly moving. The cast is a blast, starting with a compelling performance by John David Washington as Stallworth, and including Adam Driver as his white frontman on the force, and Steve Buscemi's brother, Michael, as their fellow police detectives. In addition, we get the lovely Laura Harrier as woke love interest and Afro-sporting college radical Patrice, and Topher Grace, who is hilarious as David Duke. This is probably my favorite Spike Lee joint since 2006's Inside Man. It's entertaining and provocative, as is his very best work. I give a big recommendation to Black Klansman. Harrowing is the word for A Prayer Before Dawn, another remarkable true story turned into a feature film. If you ever wanted to get the real tale of what life is like for a prisoner in a Thai prison, this is it. Joe Cole, who's best known for his work on British TV shows like The Hour and more recently Peaky Blinders, is phenomenal as Billy Moore, the young English boxer whose life in Thailand is nothing but Muay Thai fights and drugs until he's popped by the local cops for narcotics and tossed into the grimiest, most dangerous prison you've ever imagined. The lone white guy among Thai gangsters and lowlifes, he has to somehow survive and soon figures out how to utilize his athletic skills as a means to free himself. There are subtitles for Thai in here and for Thai accented English, but there's a minimum of English language dialogue. Nonetheless, dialogue is not that necessary in a visceral movie like this. It's not for the faint of heart, but A Prayer Before Dawn packs a wallop. It's brutal, unflinchingly violent, and dark, and very well done. By the way, not easily forgotten after watching it. Directed with cold, cruel power by Jean-Stéphane Sauvaire, I recommend A Prayer Before Dawn to those who can actually endure it. I know, kind of a weird recommendation. Finally, Madeline's Madeline, this week's seemingly requisite coming-of-age movie. It's a very strange and very original take on the genre. At the center of things is Madeline, a creative and troubled New York City teenager played in a stunning screen debut by a young actress by the name of Helena Howard. Madeline has serious issues with her tremulous single mom, played in an ideal piece of casting by oddball, idiosyncratic indie actress and filmmaker Miranda July. And Madeline's seeming salvation is the avant-garde theater troupe that is her extracurricular joy, and the demanding but nurturing mama bear who runs the troupe. She's played by Molly Parker, who you may know from the new Lost in Space. That's great casting here, by the way. Inevitably, Madeline is caught between these two mother figures, especially when the theater director decides to dramatize a traumatic dream of Madeline's involving the girl's mom. Havoc is unleashed. Writer-director Josephine Decker took a sometimes abstract approach to the story with dreamy reveries and overlapping dialogue, mirroring Madeline's confusion, her angst, and her aspirations, as well as the sloppy nature of interpersonal conflict in general. I was impressed and intrigued by Madeline's Madeline. What do you got going on, buddy?
Something unusual. It's coming out, and I think it's going to be it's for home release only, and it's coming out in about a week or so. The Death of Superman, which is an animation from Warner's, and I got to tell you, it's better than any of the action pictures I've seen recently. I watched, for instance, the Avengers Infinity Wars, and was just bored to tears. Just bored to tears. And then all of a sudden, my friend Shecky suggests The Death of Superman. And I figure, it's that, stilted animation and everything. There is more action and plot development and character development in this little animated treat from Warner's than anything I've seen in the big action films. It's really amazing. Death of Superman.
DC has definitely outstripped Marvel on the animated film side for years and years and years. I would agree with that assessment, and I'll give it a shot. It's based on a kind of a long form story from the comics from a number of years ago, and now I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
And so far as the Avengers is concerned, my question is why? Except to make money, of course.
Well, it wraps up a lot of this, or
you know something. For somebody who hasn't followed every single one of those pictures, there were characters I didn't even know.
Right, that's the issue, and the only issue I had with it. If you have watched these films, it's wonderful. If you haven't, you'd be lost. I totally agree with you on that front.
The problem is if you try to let people like me keep up with all these people, then you're going to spend half the picture retelling the origin story.
Right, exactly.
And so why do them at all?
They didn't do it because it's a new, talk about long form. It's I've never seen anything like it. It's really a first in terms of film history. 20 movies that are interlocked that have this culmination. But I am absolutely in agreement with you. I loved it, but I'm in agreement with you. If you haven't seen the other films, or at least most of them, you could get lost. There's no point to watching
I mean,
it. So,
I like the one-offs like Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it was terrific, and Deadpool's terrific, and some of the singular stuff they do. But then I was also bothered by the fact that they threw Guardians of the Galaxy in here out of nowhere just to make them part of the Avengers. You know,
they actually had been seeding all that with the scenes with Thanos and with Gamora's relationship to Thanos. Hey, look, you know what? I'm telling you, if you have been watching all of the films, it's a treat. If
I've watched most of them. There are some that I strayed away from initially. I mean, I like Thor Ragnarok. Is a terrific picture, but I like it as a one-off. I don't like these gangbangs. They make no sense at all, you know, except to be a tent-pole surprise.
To each his own. But in any event, you can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook.
Well, wait a minute. Let me start the theme if you're going to do that. Okay.
There's Culture Blast page on Facebook. Hey, look, you know what? We have our most fun here on GABNet, so check back with us next week for more movies and bickering.
Okay, thanks, Michael, and I'm Alex Bennett, and if you're listening to this online, there's more GABNet coming right up. If not, well, listen to another of the on-demand programs. See you next week, Michael.